VR. Is it truly the future of gaming?
He did?
No, I don't think we're headed down the right track. Before we get a little too far ahead of ourselves, let's take a little step back. Bam! To 1995, and Mama comes home with VR's first console. You look at Mama and wonder, why the grill, Mama? Why you bring home this? She laughs and points at the lenses on the machine and says, put your little grimy eyes against these and you'll be transported to a brand new world. A world of headaches. Because if you couldn't tell, everything's red. Everything's red and black. Wow. This is the future? This is crazy. Okay, take me out. Get me out. Very funny. Okay, no, I'm gonna take him out at the beginning. Get me out. Come on, man. Get me out. Boom! The first Oculus prototype is released, and it only gives you about 90 degrees of angle to look at. Not enough immersion for a smart chimp like me. Many companies were dipping their fat fingers in the pasta pot of VR and throwing different gimmicks at the wall, but nothing stuck. And I mean, having low-res screens and literally putting lenses on a cardboard box for your phone, it seemed like VR was just gonna be this weird fever dream that we all had. Until Master Chef Gabe Newell came in and got his pasta to stick with the Valve Index, which truly intensifies immersion with high-res screens and high-quality controllers. But a juggernaut like this needs just a little bit more. It needs games. But if we're gonna be brutally honest here, most of the games are just hit or miss. Like, for instance, you have Half-Life Alyx, Boneworks, recently Bone Lab, hear me out, VR Chat, even Five Nights at Freddy's. All give you truly immersive experiences that allow you to feel this virtual reality come into play. And other games like Pavlov don't really hit the same mark. Although still fun to play, Pavlov just feels a little bit off. While the realistic reloading is fantastic, it just doesn't work when your hands are literally oven mitts. I mean, how am I supposed to reload this thing with only two working fingers like this? Boop, 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 boop. Gotta put the magazine in. Oh yeah, can't do that. Look at my fingers, I only got two of them. So if you were looking for an experience to grab a gun and shoot someone's head off, just play Half-Life Alyx, play something like, I don't know, Super Hot, or even play like something like Bone Lab, right? Same mechanics, get the reload animation, put it back in, just shoot the gun. It's very simple. Now obviously there's more than just shooters, right? There's also games like Phasmophobia, which are great on the desktop, but completely immerse you in the game in VR. Even Guitar Hero with swords is a fun concept. It's a fun game, and it's because it has interesting mechanics. I mean, you just stand there and you slash the blocks with these lightsabers, and it starts off simple, just up, down, left, right, yada, yada, yada. But then it gets so intense. It gets so, there's these maps that are so creative and they're so intense that you're just gonna be on the ground doing the sponge because you're having a seizure because there's so much going on the screen. And it makes you feel weird, man. It makes you feel like, I'm doing the sponge, I'm doing the sponge. Earlier we mentioned VR chat, and if you get past the soy boys, the e-girls, and the furries, get past that wall, it's a completely great experience. If you go in by yourself, it's basically like a museum. You get to go to any of these places, your wildest dreams, as long as it's been created, you can go to it. Look, I'm literally in Zelda. What's next? Whoa, what? What's this? I don't even know. It's crazy though, look at that, that's insane. Wow. It's like music or something. And don't get me wrong, VR is a great gimmick, right? It allows you to play games into a new dimension. It allows you to be fully involved into the game that you're playing. But it's not completely the future of gaming. I mean, it'll take a while until VR really feels responsive and completely immersive. I mean, half the time I play VR, it doesn't even feel right because at 6'1", look at me, that's me next to LeBron, basically the same height. It just doesn't feel right. Like, it feels like my arms are too long and I'm too tall, my head is just peaking. It doesn't feel like it's made for someone like me. Boo-hoo, so sad. Oh, you're so underprivileged. Loser. But on top of all that, most of the games aren't even optimized for all the headsets. For instance, when Bone Lab came out recently, most Valve Index users were actually having a tough time playing the game using the mechanics and encountering a lot of bugs, while people on the Quest were having a great old time. They weren't having any issues. So how can they combat this? What's the kind of issue that we can solve here? I don't know, that's a question for you. I'm not an engineer. I'm just a guy that looks funny. I'll end with this. VR truly excels with passion projects. I'm gonna say it. Developers who take the time to make these cool new mechanics, their products are better. I'm gonna say it. Guilty, I know. Guilty as charged. One of my favorites being gorilla tag. It's tag, but you're gorillas, and you got no legs, and all your momentum is done through the moving of your arms. But it's games like that that truly immerse you into VR. It's not realistic at all, but that's what makes these games. It completely takes you out of reality and puts you into a new world. And with that being said, I'll be taking a walk through the vague streets of Japan. Thanks for watching.